I just want to let you know that you weren't allowed to question Big Pharma during COVID. You're still not allowed, and people think you're a conspiracy theorist, crazy nut if you say anything against their COVID policies that actually makes sense or follow science. Because the people who say they're following the science aren't following the science. They say have faith in science. That's not how science works. You don't have faith in science, you an idiot. That's what religion's for. You question science. That's how science moves forward. You question science. The truth doesn't mind being questioned. It's the lie that doesn't like being challenged. Well, now, guess what? I just want to show you how criminal Big Pharma is. So this is just one little sliver. I'm going to do a much longer thing. I'm going to show you all the big crimes of Big Pharma. I just watched a documentary called The Crime of the Century. Have you seen that documentary? Holy F. And these are the people you're allowing to handle COVID for you. Bayer division knowingly sold HIV-infected protein. What? They knowingly did that? It wasn't an accident? This is an article, by the way, from 19 years ago I found in The Guardian. A division of the German pharmaceutical company Bayer knowingly sold blood-clotting agents infected with HIV to Asia and Latin America months after withdrawing them from Europe and the United States. Cutter Biological continued to dump stocks of the factor VIII blood clotting agent for hemophiliacs on poor countries for nearly a year after introducing a safer alternative. We don't want to get rid of these blood clotting agents. We already paid for them. We got to sell them. Hey, they have HIV in them. It's nobody I know. They infected people with HIV on purpose. That's your Big Pharma. It happened in the early 80s after the Centers for Disease Control in Atlanta, Georgia, reported in July 1982 that hemophiliacs were becoming ill from blood products. Up to that time, factor VIII, produced from the plasma of about 10,000 donors, was not screened for HIV, and it became a leading killer of hemophiliacs in the early years of AIDS. Yesterday, Bayer, which has paid out $600 million to settle lawsuits brought by thousands of American hemophiliacs, insisted it had always behaved responsibly, ethically, and humanely. So now you know that they got half the country hooked on heroin on purpose, and they knew it, and they lied to do it. They sold Vioxx that they knew were going to kill people. They said it was a medicine. It was actually something that killed you, and they killed people. And so they paid a penalty, they paid a fine, but they made more profits than the fine was. So this is legalized killing for profit. And you don't think they would do it again? You don't think Moderna and Pfizer would sell you something that would kill you if they knew they'd make some money? Of course they would. They do it all the time. They literally gave people AIDS on purpose. That's how bad they are. And my friends in comedy still afraid to criticize the COVID or their or Big Pharma or their rollout of anything. Still afraid to criticize them. My friends, my ex-friends in comedy, who reveal that they don't have any character or integrity, and most of them are fucking pussies. Comedy is when you're supposed to poke holes in the status quo, not tell lies that Big Pharma funded to prop up the status quo. You're supposed to poke holes in it. You're supposed to stand up against the government. You're supposed to stand up against criminal corporations like Big Pharma, and you're supposed to expose them. Instead, what my friends did was they yelled at people exposing the criminals. They shouted and shamed people who were exposing the criminals. Called us anti-vax. Called us right-wing. These are the companies that they're running propaganda for. When you see a comedian on stage and a comedian says, don't do your own research, what they're telling you is don't read on how criminal Big Pharma and the government are. Don't do any reading. That's what comedians are doing now. They're shaming people for reading because they're so fucking brainwashed and gutless. Guess who did stick their chin out and tell the truth and get called all those names? We did, just like we did for Russiagate, just like we did for Syria and the gas attacks, just like we did for opposing Bernie and the CARES Act, just like we did for opposing the Ukraine war and Bernie and the progressive war pigs. we're going to keep telling the truth here. And my ex-friends, my ex-comedian friends, they get to live their lives in their bubble with no integrity and no character. Don't want to be part of that group. Don't need people who don't have character and certainly don't have courage. They have neither. It's weird. You're a comedian. You'd think they would. They don't. Hey, everybody. We're doing live stand-up shows in Los Angeles at the Two Roads Theater, December 9th, 16th, 23rd, and 30th. And also will be March 5th in Tempe, Arizona, April 21st, Minneapolis, Minnesota, and Milwaukee and Nashville in April. Those tickets will be on sale soon. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for all those tickets and become a premium member while you're there. You get all our videos unedited.